I don't know what's sadder, the fact that in real life streaming is now a legitimate career path, or the fact that millions of people are now sitting at home watching someone else live their life and paying them for it. Think about that for a second. We've gone from scripted television to reality TV to influencers to now literally watching someone walk down the street in real time. We used to gather around the TV to watch actors. Then we gathered to watch ordinary people become famous on shows like Big Brother. Then we moved to watching curated real life on Love Island. Then the Kardashians built an empire from simply being watched on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now we watch streamers live stream their breakfast, their arguments, their gym sessions, their dates, their sleep, and we gift them money while we do it. Some of these platforms like Twitch and TikTok have built multi-billion-pound ecosystems off one thing: your attention. But here's the thing nobody seems to ask. Why are we so comfortable being spectators? Why are we more emotionally invested in strangers' lives than building our own? Because here's what I think's happened. We've created a culture where watching feels like participating, where observing success feels like progress, where feeling connected feels belonging. But it's all one-sided. It's what psychologists call a parasocial relationship. You feel like you know them, but they don't know you exist. And the more time you spend consuming someone else's life, the less time you spend constructing your own. This isn't about hating creators. Some streamers are smart, disciplined, entrepreneurial. The issue isn't creation, it's passive consumption. It's young men who know everything about influencers' daily routines, but haven't built their own one. It's people funding someone else's dream with subscriptions and gifts while postponing their own. So today I want to talk about the rise of reality TV, the psychology of why we watch, how we went from Big Brother to live stream breakfasts, and what this spectator culture is quietly doing to your ambition, identity, and drive. Because at some point you have to ask yourself, are you the main character in your own life, or are you just watching someone else's? Welcome back to the Big Lab Podcast. I'm your host, George. Let's get into what is a growing topic at the moment. So we're going to start off with the rise of reality TV. We had Big Brother starting around the 2000s. We then had Love Island, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, X Factor, The Only Way is Essex. This has been great for people, I think, in a way to see kind of average, everyday people go and do something with their lives. But I think the issue is that people get so caught up on what they're doing with their lives instead of actually looking at what they're doing with their own. They get hung up on what so and so is doing on Love Island. Like, that's the topic of conversation. And I work in an office, so like I'll go into the office and I'll hear people like speaking about these, in my opinion, brain rot TV shows about what's going on, and I can't believe so and so did this. And for me, it's really sad because people revolve their lives around being sat in front of a screen at 9 o'clock every Tuesday or whatever time these programs are on. I genuinely don't know because I couldn't care any less. And it's no hate for you if you do watch these things, but I do think it becomes a part of your life and you spend so much time consuming what other people are doing instead of concentrating on what you can do with your own life. Because say you're watching these for 5 or 10 hours a week, I think in some cases, imagine if you put that towards something like a side hustle or just, I don't know, starting a new hobby, go in the gym, getting yourself in better shape and feeling good about yourself. And just a quick fact around this. So by the mid 2000s, reality TV accounted for nearly 40% of US prime TV time. And yes, because there's not necessarily paid actors in these programs and they're just general everyday people quite often, they're a lot cheaper to produce than, say, a scripted drama is. Contestants are paid significantly less for any of these shows where they may win a prize at the end. It's not about art, it's more about cost efficiency and attention capture. Obviously, it does really well, and there's reasons for it, there's psychology behind it. And the reason why we do watch so much is, like I mentioned earlier, these parasocial relationships, which was a phrase coined by Horton and Wall in 1956. And the definition of it is a one-sided psychological relationship where the viewers feel emotionally connected to someone who doesn't know they exist. So you feel like you know them, but they don't even know that you exist. And in a way, I feel that's a little bit sad. Like, you put all of this time and effort into watching someone else live their dream whilst you're sat on a couch doing nothing about yours other than maybe a bit of dopamine. I'm not too sure what people get out of it because for me personally, I can't do it. And like I say, I'm not having a go at people that do watch it, but there's so many people that say, "Oh, I wish I could do this," or I wish I could be in better shape." But you sat on the couch spending 5, 10 hours a week watching someone else on a program when you could be going out and doing these things. It's all down to your priorities at the end of the day. If you're not willing to sacrifice a little bit of watching a reality TV show to work on yourself, then don't sit there and complain that you've not got to where you want to be. It's your fault at the end of the day. You're in control of your destiny, I guess, as cringy as that sounds. If you want something from life, then you've got to go put the work in. Don't moan while sitting on the couch watching reality TV. When you watch people either win, fight, travel, get rich, dating attractive people, your brain mirrors part of the emotional response. So you almost feel like you're a part of it. So research in neuroscience shows that mirror neurons fire when you're observing the action and your brain partially simulates the experience. That's why people get so invested in it, because when they see other people doing well or whatever it is that's happening in this program, you feel invested in it and you feel some of the feelings that they may be feeling. So you get a cheap version of achievement. So there's no risk, no rejection, no effort, and it's seductive in a way because you get some of the benefits without any of the risk or potential failure. I think that's why people get so ingrained into it. It's such a strange sort of paradox. And then obviously the reality TV is then transformed in a way into influencers and streamers, and now even in real life streaming, which I find absolutely baffling that people will sit there at home on the laptop or the phone watching someone walk down a street living their life, quite often doing stupid things for views because views sell at the end of the day. But imagine sitting there on your couch and you're watching someone going literally out in real life, living, and you're doing the complete opposite. So this obviously came quite big during the COVID time. So Twitch launched in 2011, live streaming then really took off because no one really had anything to do. No one was able to go out and do stuff. So there was quite a lot of streamers that started streaming games, which again, I find baffling that someone would sit there watching someone else play a game when you can just play the game yourself. I honestly can't fathom why you do it. And then especially gift people and pay them to do it. I don't get it. And now top streamers are earning millions via the subscriptions, donations, and sponsorships. TikTok Live is a gifting economy again. Like people will sit there literally on a live stream and people are pressing buttons and stickers and stuff that they've paid for that then get donated to these streamers. Honestly, I don't understand it. I don't get how it's come to this. Viewers literally send real money just in exchange for their attention. Now, I think it's going a little bit too far. Like I said, streamers are streaming in real life. They are streaming things like their dates, which should be, in my opinion, a private thing to do. I've noticed there's a trend recently of, especially girls, it may happen with lads too. The only thing I've only seen it with girls doing it is basically they will take maybe like a TikTok before they go on a date. They say, "Oh, I'm getting ready for the date with X person." They will literally name them in some cases. They will then go on the date, sometimes even record whilst they're on the date. They'll like prop the phone up whilst they're eating or having a conversation. Sometimes the lad doesn't know about it. They'll then go home and give a review of the date. Now imagine you go on a date with someone. You're then later on scrolling through your phone. You come across a TikTok of the girl that you were on a date with a couple of hours ago, and she's reviewing your date for the whole world to see. Now, that is a bit of an invasion of privacy for me. Like, if I'm going on a date with someone I wouldn't want, then no matter how good or bad it went, I would not then want that out to the rest of the world. That is between me and the person. I really don't get it. They're also then streaming things like arguments. I don't know how many of them are actually real, or are they just for the streams to then, hype the views up? Is it just clickbait stuff? I don't know. Streaming, in some cases, sleeping and just doing daily errands. Like, what am I getting out of you cleaning your house? Like, if that's what I honestly, I can't explain it. I can't explain it from someone that's into streaming. Maybe I need to get a guest on that watches streams for them to explain it, because I literally can't, because I couldn't think of why I would ever sit there and just watch someone doing day-to-day stuff. It's essentially like a surveillance as entertainment. I guess it's literally like having Ring cameras in your house and then you uploading that footage to the internet and people paying you for it. I don't get it. I really don't. Now, like I say, I'm not attacking individuals that do stream or watch it. I just don't personally understand it. I really don't, because I'd rather put that time and effort into myself and go and doing things with friends, family, whatever on my own. Literally anything other than sitting and watching someone live their life. Now, yes, I watch things like in the past, I've watched like fitness influencers on YouTube, but that is more for educational purposes. It's seeing how they train, it's seeing how they work their businesses. I'm not sitting there to basically watch them clean the house or walk down the street and go for a meal. That's not what I watch them for. It's completely different. If you're watching them for educational purposes, you're getting something out of it. If you're watching them doing the general, just day-to-day stuff, you don't get anything for it. Yeah, I'm someone that doesn't watch a lot of TV. I watch the football and I watch some podcasts because that is my downtime. Instead of listening to it whilst I'm doing something else, I literally chuck my phone to the side and I will watch a podcast because I feel like I'm more into it. I'm actually listening. The old aspirations was I want to do something. The new aspiration is I want to be seen doing something. And even worse, I'll watch someone else do it. There's a sort of evolution of social media. I think that obviously we are the generation that first sort of grew up with it. We had the childhood of not having phones. So we had the pure, proper childhood and then grew up with the start of phones and then social media. And now we're into streaming. And yeah, it's everyone's doing stuff for the dopamine of getting the likes for doing it instead of actually doing it because it is an intrinsic motivation that this is what I want to do. I mentioned on another podcast recently, I wonder how many people would do things like Hyroxes, fitness photo shoots, half marathons, if they didn't have social media to post it to, because I don't think as many people would. A lot of people these days do it literally to post on Instagram. Like I've mentioned, you've got to ask, are you the main character in your own life or a background character in someone else's? We're in the attention economy, and there's a quote from author Tim Wu in The Attention Merchants. The business model is simple: capture human attention and resell it to advertisers. People aren't the product, your attention is. And the way apps and social media and things like that these days are curated is purely to keep you on it. It is made in a similar way to things like a casino. You don't get the dopamine from the video that you're watching, you get the dopamine from what's the next video coming. Is it going to be funnier? Is it going to be a better video? Is it going to, I don't know, just interest me more? And then you constantly flick to the next one. Is that one going to be better? Am I going to get something from that? It's that you don't get the dopamine from watching it. You get the dopamine from the what if. And this illusion of connection, literally watching someone daily, feels intimate. It feels authentic. It feels real, but it's still curated. Even raw content is generally strategic. Everything's got a plan behind it. Everything's got an end goal. Whether you can see it quite a lot in businesses on social media where someone sells a product, but you don't know that they're selling a product until the very end. I'm quite good at spotting it these days because I've been on social media that much. But they will start with the general hook. What is the problem? Then they'll tell you about what they can do, and then they'll give you a sales funnel at the end. It is very simple and strategic. Quite a lot of what people do, especially in streaming, is to get you to a point of where you're paying. Then there's things like the cheap dopamine versus end meaning. So you can compare watching as immediate, easy, comfortable, addictive. Doing is delayed, hard, risky, transformative. So for instance, if you wanted to get fitter and healthier, it will be so much easier to watch someone else doing it. And then you get in, like I mentioned before, part of the reward mentally from seeing them do well. The hard thing would be to do it yourself, to actually go out, turn up to the gym for 6 months, get your diet sorted, get your sleep sorted, and absolutely nail it for 3 to 6 months, and then see where you end up. That's the delayed part. It's the hard part. It's transformative, but that's where you get the most benefit. These GLP-1s that are going around at the moment, the semaglutides and all that, the fat loss jabs are, for me, a net negative. For some people, they're needed if they're at a point where they are that massive that the thing that will literally stopping them from death would be to get on one of these fat loss jabs. The average overweight person, for me, does not need to have one of these, because what will happen is they will lose all the weight. They've not learned how to train properly. They've not learned how to sort the diet properly in most cases. So they're just going to rebound. They'll lose all this weight. Quite a lot of muscle is lost as well with these fat loss jobs. I think they're really, really bad. And I think there's a lot of data that's going to come out in the next few years. But it is a quick fix. You lose the weight, you get the result that you want, but you've not earned it. So it's not as satisfying. You don't appreciate the journey as much, because all you've had to do is jab yourself on the stomach however many times a week. You've not learned the basics of being a fit and healthy person. You are still this overweight person mentally. You've just cheated your way to losing the weight and getting in better shape. Like I say, you lose a lot of muscle on these fat loss jobs. So I think you end up in potentially a worse place in some cases, because you've literally got no muscle and you then got to build up from the bottom. So it's all about gaining that discipline, the identity, the drive of being a fitter and healthy person. Because like I say, mentally, you are still that overweight person in a skinnier body. The average adult spends 2.5 hours per day on social media. TikTok users spend over 90 minutes per day on average, and Twitch had 30 plus million daily active users at peak periods. Influencer marketing is now a multi-billion pound industry. It's not a niche, it's a culture. It is growing at a ridiculous rate. 30 million active daily users at peak periods on Twitch. That's like half of the UK at any one time in a day is on Twitch watching someone else stream. How mental is that? So you've got to ask, are young men building skills or building online personas? Are they training their bodies or training algorithms? We've created a world where watching someone else's grind feels like progress, and is the complete opposite. Ask yourself, would I be better off spending this hour to 2 hours or whatever it is you're doing each night watching someone else live their life? If you invested that in yourself, where would you be 6, 12, 18 months down the line? Now, I don't want to sound like an old man shouting at clouds. Some streamers are entrepreneurs. Some build communities, which are a positive thing for society. Some create genuine value. The issue isn't necessarily the creation, it's consumption without the intention. So like I said, if there's a benefit from you watching it, like I used to have when I was first getting into fitness and stuff, watching fitness YouTubers, I was getting a benefit from that because I was watching them and learning stuff about health and fitness and how to lift weights properly and how to set up a program properly. If you're watching these streamers and, like I say, if they are entrepreneurs, if they're building a community, like quite a lot of people will build, like run clubs, great, anything like that provides a genuine value. If you're watching literally someone just live their life, what are you getting from that? There's no benefit. And there's a great quote from Naval Ravikant: if you don't control your own time, someone else will. Seneca also said, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. You've got maybe 80 years roughly on this planet. Why would you spend them watching someone else live their life? And Newport said, clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. If you stop consuming everyone else's life for 30 days, what would you build? You don't need a following, you need a life. If this episode has hit home, if you want to speak to me about why you watch streaming, I'm all ears, let me know. But if this has helped you, then send it to a friend because it may help them too. If you've enjoyed this episode, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.